Potara says, "Hi, Mehran. I'm doing better. I just have these images that are popping up. I'm simply disregarding them. I feel tired and anxious. Is this normal? I'm recovering from HOCD, by the way." Well, you're tired and anxious because you're trying to come to a conclusion. And when there's no need and it's not necessary at all. But we human beings have been duped to think that we live by conclusion rather than the actuality of life, which is observation. The difference, as simply put, is that if I'm walking in the street and I see something little longish, thick, darkish, brown or black on the side of the street, observation life tells me, okay, I see something brownish or black, and it's about maybe 10, 20 centimeter, and it's on the corner, and nothing for me to, I noticed it. And perhaps I even notice a smell. What does it tell us? It's dog poo. Yeah. So observation life tells you, okay, you observed it and you go. The conclusion style of life, it says, I got to see what it is. Why is it here? Why does it smell? What does it do to me? All of that you want to find out about everything and everything, when it's really not necessary. All it's necessary for you to have observed it, became notified of its existence, allow it to exist without having any responsibility or having any connection or having any interest to know more about it. But knowing that this is environment outside, and worms and the dog poo and the debris and the branches and the leaves can fall and be there and exist. That's part of life. Now, same thing goes in your head. If you accept the fact that the brain is a thought manufacturing entity, plant, factory, and you have no need to know what it does, what it manufactures, why it manufactures, any meaning to what it images and thoughts and ideas, suggestions show up in the screen of the head. If you realize that you don't need to delve into it and figure out anything, just allow things to be while you're allowed yourself to be, and choose and veto and whatever it is that you are interested in life and not interested in life, go about that. Instead, you neglect yourself and you want to pay attention to a dog poo or a thought showed up. What does it mean? Why is it having anything to do with the brain to determine your identity? Determine what you should pay attention to or not. Determine your interests or not. Why suggestions outside of you supposed to attract your attention? What for? Because we have been duped since childhood, misunderstood the meaning and usage and presence of brain. We have misunderstood the interpretation or the existence or the purpose of the brain, and we have understood it mistakenly as the protector of us. You think brain is the protector. Therefore, you think what brain suggests or conjures up, the images that shows up in the head, are there to protect you. They're not. Brain is not an intellect. Brain doesn't know anything to protect you. Brain is a bunch of neurons. Its job is to do certain process and certain protocol in order to be at your service when you want to use it to do something with it. Instead, you have turned this that is there for your service to use it to do something with it, like figuring out something, designing something, producing something, learning something, all these other things that can be done using the brain. You have turned it into that the brain is the intellect, and what it suggests or appears in its screen of your head, is what you are, what you should follow, and it's your leader. And what it says trumps you, because you think You're less than the brain, and brain is you. Brain is your leader, you think, versus the fact, actuality, fact that is proven by the modern science, not just Aristotle's talk 1,000 years ago. With modern science, has been proven through neuroscience that you're not the brain, brain is not you. There are aspects of mind and you that the brain cannot even reach. There is no localizing center for intellect in the brain. They can't localize center for compassion. They can't localize center for consciousness. They cannot localize center for math. They cannot localize center for intellect, I said, and they cannot localize center for many other things that they cannot localize. What they can, and they have proven, is that they can stimulate part of the brain, and a certain limb or certain characteristics of you or abilities of you could show itself up, such as they can stimulate part of the brain and your limb can move, or you could see a light if they stimulate occipital point in the back of the head, or they can make you make a sound like the speech could be stimulated, but they can't localize compassion center, intellect center, consciousness center, political center. They can't localize where these are located, the center for these sort of thoughts and thinking and actions and reactions. So you need to understand that you are separate from the brain, and brain is not you and you're not the brain. Therefore, brain is not your protector. Brain is an apparatus that puts out suggestions and puts out information, and you, the awareness, that is you, the awareness, the higher up in the chain of command, you decide, judge what's usable, what's not usable. Not that what it comes from the brain shows up. I gotta now find a conclusion for it, interpret it. Why is it there? It must have a meaning. It's a deity. No, it's not. It's just another organ doing its thing and going through its own malfunction and disastrous negotiation of its duties when it fails. And we all face that on a daily basis. That's why you have something called the veto power, where in vetoes, brain is not even involved. There is no electromagnetic field generated in the brain when you veto something that the brain, a decision has been made or shown up. If you understand this, then you understand the power of your awareness. That is you. Brain is an organ. So what it suggests and shows up, conjures up, should not bamboozle you that now I got to find out what it means in regards to me. It means nothing. Because you live by your choices and your vetoes, not by suggestions, ideas, images that the brain puts out. Brain is an organ. That's it. And it messes up, malfunctions, just like any other organ. Liver, kidney, intestine. You get diarrhea, don't you? Malfunction. A bug is in there. Same thing with brain. You got to now debug it by rewiring it through the way you react to the thoughts and suggestions and images that shows up in the brain. And you help the brain to come back to its default setting without having all these malfunctions, and through neuroplasticity, by the way you treat thoughts and understand that you accept that they can exist, but they're irrelevant to you. Lots of things exist in the world, but they're irrelevant to me, but I accept that they can exist. Same thing with thoughts from the brain. Then you're on your way to freedom. Freedom from thoughts and freedom from bullshit. The last part was a very scientific way of saying it. All right.